you indeed were the pioneers of the kind of electronic music that you put out and still continue to be the innovators. Do you feel as though there have been other bands that have come up in the past couple of years that have perhaps paved the way for the commercial success that you're experiencing now?
Certainly. I mean, things like Human League being #1 in America. I mean, that was stunning. I couldn't believe that. That obviously changed people's attitudes towards it and made it a bit more acceptable. But it just seems that just now there's a load of bands in the charts over here that we would never ever have thought would have done it here. I mean, would have been successful in any way at all, because it was a very sort of Styx, Boston, Christopher Cross orientated market in America. And we find it really strange to see Culture Club successful. we find it great. I mean,
encouraging,
we like
yeah.
that. Yeah, it's great. But never in a million years we would have thought that would have happened. So there's hope for us yet.
Do you find that using a lot of synthesizers in your music, it's hard to stay human? A lot of bands seem to have that problem.
Not at all. That's because it's really easy to hide behind the synthesizer. If you don't have any stage presence or personality at all, it's the easiest thing in the world to look cold and really far removed and stand behind a synthesizer and call it art, and we don't do that at all. Not at all. I mean, look, there's a real strong human element in all our stuff. It's generally called mistakes. No, I mean, like we still use a lot of violin, guitar, bass, drums, but all the regular sort of rock and roll. I mean, we're basically a rock and roll band. We're a rock band that use synthesizers, use modern day technology.
There's been some rumblings over in Canada that electronic music and very heavily synthesized based bands are going to be the direction for the 80s. Do you see that?
It'll be fashionable for a while.
It will be in the fore for a while, but it's not the be all and end all of like modern music, and there's perfectly good music still coming out of guitars, bass, and drums. All it is, I mean, like, it's all down to the individual. It's all down to the musician, really. I mean, like having the facility of a synthesizer which can create any known noise or any noise that you hear in your head that no one's ever heard before, that is great. But you still got to be, the musician's still got to be the right guy to play it, So it's all down to the individuals. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of synthesizer bands, a lot of bands bringing up drum machines and buying the first synths and making a lot of bleeps and blonks, That'll be a fashion, but that'll die, and the musicians will still carry on. I mean, we're going to adapt to whatever we can get our hands on. If it means bringing in computers to play what we want to play, that'll be the next step for us.
Ultravox in Toronto has become known as such a cult band. It's like the hipper than thou attitude if you like Ultravox. But you guys are very down to earth. You're like any other pop band that we've ever talked to.
Well, I'd certainly like to think so, I mean, like, the music is very serious, but I mean, I don't like taking myself too seriously. I think it's really boring.
Well, how do you have that separation? How do you do serious music and then have a persona that's very lighthearted?
Well, I mean, I find although the music's serious, it's not like the be-all and end-all of everything. I like all the trimmings that go along with it. I like sitting doing interviews, and I like meeting people, and I like going to clubs. I think people work too hard at being recluses.
It's far too calculated most of the time.
Very much so. Yeah. I mean, like not talking to the press and not going anywhere, not being seen in public. It's all crap.
How do you like your fans to take you? Do you want them to take that hipper than thou approach? I'm into Ultravox, so the hell with your
they can take us whatever way they want. I mean, that's down to the individual. I mean, we're not putting across a hipper than thou attitude. We're not saying we are Ultravox and go away, you know, buy the stuff and don't talk to us, you know. We're not putting anything like that across. I mean, we are what we are, and the music does that. It's not two separate things. We don't try to do that on record or on stage and then be something else off stage, you know. It's just the way it comes across, just the way it comes out.
With Ultravox, I just felt as though I was part of something. I felt for the first time ever that I had slotted into a niche that I was comfortable with. The first 3 weeks of being with Ultravox, I mean, we had no management, we had no record company, we had no money behind us whatsoever. We had to go out and work during the day to get enough money to go and rehearse in the evenings and things, pay for rehearsal room. And in the first 3 weeks of rehearsals, we wrote 50% of the Vienna album. It was the most creative period. You felt you were doing something different. You felt very excited at the fact that you were going against the grain. You were going against the flow, and that is brilliant. The feeling like that doesn't come that often, you know. And that's the reason to do it. It's not like you tap into something and say, "Oh, this is how you'd write that kind of music. I'll do that for a while. Oh, that's what's happening now. I'll go and jump over here and do that." You know, you have to have your ideas on what you want to achieve. You may kind of deviate slightly on the way because that's what life's all about. We used to direct a lot of the videos for ourselves, and it was always very serious, very dark, and, you know, shadowy and whatever. And then we did a video for a song called Love's Great Adventure, which was a spoof. It was a kind of, you know, Indiana Jones spoof. We shot it in Africa, and we had a great time. I actually stopped the video in the middle, because I'd been hacking my way through the jungle, and I stopped the video. And it won all sorts of awards, and for the first time ever, people realised that Ultravox actually had a sense of humour.
This is the nation's music station. All music, all the time. Much music.
In the spotlight today is just a really nice guy and a great musician as well. His name is Midge Ure. Midge Ure started off his music career and did little different bands, but the big one for him was Ultravox. He was a major force behind them, and he's truly a good musician and a really good songwriter. He's put out 2 solo albums. One of them is called The Gift, the other one, latest one, is Answers to Nothing. And when you listen to the songs, they're very optimistic, and he really believes in the goodness of mankind. He was responsible for co-writing the Band-Aid song along with Bob Geldof and got involved with the whole Live Aid show. And he also was responsible for being the music director for the Prince's Trust Fund concert, which is quite a thrill considering the caliber of musicianship that he was directing. So Midge Ure is certainly a force to be reckoned with as far as music goes, and he's going to be touring around Canada opening up for Howard Jones. In a spotlight, this is Midge Ure. How much music?
That I've come across in recent years.
You joined a band in 1979, I guess it would have been the summer of, yes, 79. I guess the summer of 79, you went to spend some time with Phil Lynott.
That's right. I didn't actually join the band. I teamed up. I was a hired gun, I think you could call it. I had just joined Ultravox, just at those beginning stages that I said I enjoyed so much. And we were desperately trying to get money together to organise ourselves and buy some of the equipment we needed and whatever. And I got a telephone call from Phil Lynott, who was in Arkansas at the time, in the middle of a Thin Lizzy tour in America, saying that Gary Moore was no longer in the band, and could I jump in Concorde the next day and fly out and
join up with them, and I thought this was fantastic. I've always been a Thin Lizzy fan. I always thought that Phil wrote basically Celtic folk songs, but they put them to a very melodic rock background. And I went out, and within 24 hours I was on stage up in front of, thousands of people playing songs that I had just learned on the plane on the way over. I hadn't even touched the guitar, and I was still trying to learn all the chord sequences and things. And it was great. It was quite a fantastic time. He was such a brilliant man and a real hero of mine. It was good fun.